They even told me that if they didn't contact me, I should consider my boyfriend as good as gone.
Some of them would say they have seen him here or there, but no one knows for sure.
Since the military coup, we know that over 4,000 people have been killed and more than 25,000 arrested by the junta, and at least 1.7 million people have been displaced by the conflict. But there's no number for the missing. Possibly hundreds or thousands have fallen through the cracks. Hello and welcome to Doh Athan, a weekly podcast that brings you human rights stories from Myanmar. It's brought to you by Fondation Hirondelle. This episode is produced by journalists from Frontier Myanmar. Names and voices may have been changed to protect contributors.
Every time we pray, we send metta to him and pray by using his name. His mom went to an astrologer who reassured her that her son is still alive and in good health, and that he is adjusting to life in prison. She often tears up talking about how he is getting used to it. She says, "My son is a good kid, always smiling. Even people who have never met him can help but love him."
Nandar is talking about her boyfriend, Nyein Chan. She hasn't seen him since the beginning of this year. In fact, no one has seen him. No one actually knows where he is, or those that do are not talking. The last time she saw him, Nyein Chan was playing games on the street with some friends. They'd all been hanging out together. But she went home to dress up because she was going to have dinner with him and his family that evening. 10 minutes later, she heard that he and his group had been arrested. She's carefully pieced together what happened through talking to his neighbours.
They were wearing normal civil clothes, came with a Nissan car, Caldina car, one white and one black Mark II, one white Swift. The guys who got out of the car were carrying long guns across their bodies, and one guy had a pistol in his longi. They shoved him in the car and drove off.
Most of the group was released within the week, but they don't know for sure that Nyein Chan was still in the detention centre when they left. They don't even know where they were held and interrogated.
Their eyes were covered with black cloth as soon as they got detained, and then they were placed in a single room for each. The only way all 6 of them could communicate between them was by tapping the walls between their rooms, and then they would know whether they were back in their rooms or not.
One of the group was sentenced to 3 years in prison, charged under the military's infamous Penal Code Article 505A, supposedly for incitement or defamation against the government. When he writes home, he always asks for news of Nyein Chan. But his friend has become one of the missing. Nobody knows how many people have gone missing since military leaders staged a coup in February 2021 and named themselves the State Administration Council, or SAC. The Assistance Association for Political Prisoners, or AAPP, said they don't have a number. James Rodehaver from the Myanmar office of OHCHR, the UN's human rights body, says it's difficult to locate people. In conflict zones, it's hard to know if someone has just fled to safety somewhere or has been arrested or killed.
Of course, it's very hard to know for certain what happens when someone disappears. If their arrest or if the military takes them into detention and there's a witness to that, of course, it's much easier. But the military has been detaining people since the beginning of the coup, and in some cases, relatives have waited months or now at this point, years, without finding out for certain where their loved ones are being held.
Equality Myanmar documented 60 missing people in a recent report covering 267 cases of people who were tortured in detention since the coup. But Nyein Chan's name was not on the list, and the figure is likely to be much higher. The Karen Human Rights Group, or KHRG, reported recently that since the coup, 72 civilians have disappeared in southeast Burma alone. Spokesman Nandar says anti-junta forces are responsible for some of these, and he says that the disappearances happen in different ways in rural areas compared to the cities.
Especially in the rural regions, civilians go missing after being used as navigators, porters, or human shields. It is mostly youths that disappear. In cities and nearby towns, some people have been arrested because they are accused of being spies, or because they have ties to armed groups or are supporting them, and they would go missing after they were detained. Other people have forcibly disappeared after being accused by resistance groups of being informants for the SAC.
Before the coup, if anyone went missing, relatives could usually get reliable information from the police station, or they might ask human rights groups, but many of these have ceased to operate or moved abroad. No one has access to the prisons anymore. Even the International Committee of the Red Cross, or ICRC, have not had access to jails in Myanmar since 2020. But their mandate to find the missing seems to continue. A spokesperson told Doh Athan that from January to June this year, they helped 130 families find out where their loved ones were. Before the coup, families of the missing could also appeal to the National Human Rights Commission, or NHRC, or even directly to the government, which is unlikely to happen now. Nandar says relatives are often afraid to go to the police or prisons under the control of the military regime or to inquire among resistance groups. And he says it's hard to get accurate information from anyone.
In the case of one missing 15-year-old boy, they asked people from the village where he first disappeared. Some of them don't know or haven't heard anything. Some of them would say they have seen him here or there, but no one knows for sure. And when they asked the military, they also did not know and claimed they didn't arrest him. When they went to the police stations, they directed them back to the military. The village authorities also find it hard to help the family because there are security concerns.
In their search to find Nyein Chan, Nandar and his family have also been bounced around from police stations to prisons, lawyers and interrogation centres. Like other families, their desperation for information has also made them vulnerable to exploitation by corrupt officials. According to Nandar, Nyein Chan's family has given a total of 4 million kyat, or just under $2,000, to 3 officials. They said they had information, but then cut off contact once the money had been paid. Nandar claims one of these was a staff member of the National Human Rights Commission. These are the very people who are supposed to protect detainees and help their families. They got no information from any of their sources, and one of them left Nandar with a cold message.
They even told me that if they didn't contact me, I should consider my boyfriend as good as gone.
Nandar is not taking that advice. She believes that her partner is alive. They'd been going out for 2 years and were planning a future together. Nyein Chan was hoping to get work abroad. Nandar still has hope that he will return. But all the same, she can't bear to look at the happy selfie that she took with him on the street just half an hour before he was arrested. She's hoping there are organisations which can help her find Nyein Chan. Otherwise, she doesn't know what to do.
For those who are as hopeless as me, it would be really nice if they could reach out to us through people close to us. And if there are organizations outside of the country, it would be great if they could officially offer support so that we could connect with them. Right now, I'm just not sure who to turn to for help. Currently, I'm wondering if I should just wait to be contacted. I can't do anything else, I can't do anything anymore, and I don't know what to do anymore.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Doh Athan. We'd welcome your feedback on social media. This project on human rights reporting is supported by Fondation Hirondelle with the help of our donors. You can listen to our podcast via the Doh Athan Facebook page. They can also be found on SoundCloud, YouTube and iTunes. You can also listen every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. and Sunday morning from 6 to 7 a.m. on Voice of America Radio. Please tune in again next week.